everybody, and welcome back to another wild episode of Parallel World Chat Spoiler Reviews. Today we're going to be covering Abigail.
What the? How'd she get out of those cuffs? Huh?
The movie came out on April 19th, 2024 and was directed by Tyler Gillette, I'm not sure if I'm saying your name right, and Matt Bettinelli-Olpin. I'm also sorry if I'm not saying your name correctly. You know, it's a wild movie. It made $37.7 million in the box office. But before we get any further, let's introduce my hosts. Starting with Mr. Bunny Rabbit, the Bunny Rabbit, hailing from the backwoods of Woodback Woods. Hey everybody, how you doing? Quesadilla, it's good to be back for another episode because this one I thought was wild. You're absolutely right, this was a wild one and I'm very excited for us to all talk about it. Next I got Larry Fester, an elderly man from a universal planet on another parallel world of only old people.
Hey everybody, how are you doing? You know, when I heard about this Abigail movie, I was like, how are you gonna make like a child ballerina vampire scary to me? It just doesn't seem that scary.
Joey?
Yeah.
I'm sorry about what's gonna happen to you.
See, that's not even that scary. The girl was just saying she's sorry and, you know, something might be happening. I mean, she was very vague about it.
That's because you took that video clipping, totally made it out of context of what was actually happening during that scene. The little girl was threatening her, saying, you know what? Anyways, we're gonna move on. My next host is The Beef, a cactus who recently went sentient.
Hello everybody, thanks for letting me participate again in another episode of Parallel World Chat Spoiler Reviews. I was hoping that we were gonna do something like a little less scary this time, but it's okay.
Thank you for joining us again, The Beef. We're so happy to have you on this show. You keep the cuteness going. And my final host, he once was a computer, then he got sucked into a parallel warp or something, and then now he's a human being. After Season 2, he's back on Season 3, Internet Cool Guy 2.
You're watching Internet Cool Guy 2 in the morning with Internet Cool Guy 2 and The Beef in the morning. Thank you so much for having me back for another episode.
Why does Internet Cool Guy 2 always have to introduce himself like it's always a radio show? We get it, you used to have a radio show back in the day, and now you don't, but he does it every single time.
To be honest, I don't even realize that I'm doing it every time when I say, you're watching Internet Cool Guy 2 in the morning with The Beef. With Internet Cool Guy 2 and The Beef.
He's doing that again. Don't patronize me, Internet Cool Guy 2.
Typically, I'm not even bringing up the idea that Internet Cool Guy 2 does that all the time, just because I think it's funny that it bothers you, Larry, that much. Well, getting back to the reason why we're actually all here today, we're going to be talking about the movie Abigail.
What's so funny?
The movie's actually about a bunch of criminals who get hired to go and kidnap a 12-year-old girl who is part of somebody in a criminal world, and then they take this girl, they gotta bring her to a mansion, and then they gotta stay there for 24 hours.
That's so weird. Why would a bunch of criminals want to kidnap a little girl? That's the part that sounds like the scariest about this entire movie. Not this little girl that's apparently 12 years old and she's a ballerina. It's the fact that there's like five, six people who want to go and kidnap her.
Yeah, but then you find out that she's actually a vampire.
I dressed up as a vampire for Halloween one year and not a single person was afraid of me.
Yeah, dude, wait, that's because you are an idiot and that was a Halloween costume. Nobody is afraid of you in any form.
Don't get me scary. Look at me. I'm a freaking robot.
Moving on, we're going to find out what everybody thought of the film. What did you think of it? Definitely one of the most unexpected, interesting horror films I've watched in a minute. You know, it was not what I expected for a vampire movie, but I thought it was a really fun, like, roller coaster ride of a horror movie.
Please let me out. I'm scared.
Cut the shit. You're really good at pretending to be a little girl.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll admit it too. I thought it was a very interesting film. You know, I didn't actually want to watch it at first, because the trailers, they just told you everything. You know, it already told you that she's 12 years old and that she's a vampire, and all these people are getting hunted down by her. So I already thought that the trailer gave away way too much of the synopsis of the movie, but I did think it was a lot of fun to watch.
You know, the movie really wasn't my style because it was really scary again, but I do really like that it was, like, kind of funny.
I thought that the movie was actually pretty fun and good too. You know, I've definitely seen worse vampire movies, such as Queen of the Damned. That was a terrible movie.
Don't talk about Queen of the Damned. That was a terrible movie.
You know, I'm gonna have to agree. Queen of the Dam is a terrible movie. Let's not even talk about that right now. But Abigail was a very fun, interesting vampire film. I mean, I even watched something like that in a minute. I mean, because before, we were getting movies like Twilight, completely ruining the entire world of vampires. And then now we got this Abigail, that they're trying some new stuff. I feel it was a very interesting take on it. You know, I'm gonna have to say that, like, I miss horror movies or vampire films when they were really 80s, you know, like Fright Night or Lost Boys. You know, these were really fun vampires. Kind of scary, kind of not, you know, but you still had a good time. Abigail is a whole different type of vampire now. I mean, it's a 12-year-old girl. What is this, like, Interview with the Vampire?
You know, now that you say that, it is a lot like Interview with the Vampire. Is this the same little girl from that movie? But it's just been like a long time, and there's no more, Brad Pitt in it?
Interview with the Vampire is a classic horror movie. I love that one.
I think that one of the scary parts of the movie is, like, the realization is that you have, like, a 12-year-old kid, and she's just, like, kind of coming home and doing her thing, and then next thing you know, these people want to, like, kidnap her, and you're sitting there worried about your kid, and I think everybody could, like, relate to that, and, like, nobody wants to see that happen. And so I just think it's, like, really scary to know you can get kidnapped, but then at the same time, there's, like, she's a vampire.
Those are some heavy insights, my little dude.
So, do you think that all of you would watch this movie again, or is it a one-time watch kind of movie? You know, now that you ask me that question, I cannot lie. I'm gonna have to say that I've actually watched this movie, like, I don't know, 5 times now since it's been out. You know, it's just kind of one of those films. I'm sitting there in my house, I'm maybe cleaning and doing some stuff, and I'm not actually watching a movie, but I want to put something on in the background. And, you know, it's like a new thing that's on streaming right now, so, you know, it's throwing Abigail again. You know, it's fun, it's funny, it's a completely different style.
You know, if it wasn't actually to all the jokes that were in the movie, I would probably never watch it again. I mean, because the weird villain guy, I think his name was Joey, I hated him. He was terrible to watch. He just kept pissing me off. But besides that, Melissa Barrera, she did a fantastic job. I was super happy to see her in this, you know, after being in Scream and all that whole stuff with Jenna Ortega, blah, 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 blah. But I thought the movie was actually a really fun one for a new vampire movie. I have definitely seen new horror movies come out that were horrible than that.
I have definitely seen other movies that were way worse than this one. This one was actually fun. I would watch it again. I have it programmed in my head, and I'm kind of watching it right now on the side. I'm talking to you, I'm watching the film. But you know what? One of the movies, off topic just a little, one of the worst movies I've seen come out this year was If.
You didn't like the movie If? I thought that movie was so cute.
I absolutely hated that movie, If.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree that If was a terrible movie.
I think that this show is actually better than that movie If. But if we're gonna compare this show to Abigail, Abigail is probably better than this show, but it is better than If. You know, I don't know what I'm saying.
It always amazes me how easily off topic you guys can get when we're talking about anything. And yes, If was a horrible movie.
Mr. High and Mighty not looking so Mr. High and Mighty anymore talking about If.
Well, let me ask everybody one more question. If you were in the movie, what would you have done? Well, my friend, you know, that's a pretty easy question, because I'd probably do absolutely nothing. You know why? Because I'm not hanging out with a bunch of criminals, and I'm not going around trying to kidnap 12-year-old girls.
I'd probably try and be their friend. Even if they were a vampire, I'd still try and be their friend. And if anything else, I'd probably just be sitting on a table, just sitting.
I would actually probably call up my best friend Van Helsing, because, you know, me and Van Helsing go way, way back. You know, back in the day, we used to capture vampires all the time and kill them, you know, and so, you know, Van Helsing and me, we go really far back. So I'd probably give him a call, and, I don't know, we'd probably stop this little girl. Dude, you do not know who Van Helsing is because Van Helsing isn't even a real person because he's not going around actually killing vampires because vampires are not even real.
I'd probably get there with the little girl. I'd stare her in the eyes and then I would shoot lasers from my eyes and completely obliterate her.
My answer was better.
Well, everybody, there you have it. Laser vision, Van Helsing, whatever. I'm not even sure what y'all even talking about. But anyways, that is our review on Abigail. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Parallel World Chat Spoiler Review. We are very excited about this show, and we can't wait to have you back for another one. We got another episode coming up here soon. So see you next time, everybody.